Hi, Kerry Garrison with 888 VoIP Store, and today we're going to take a look at configuring Digium Digital Cards with trixbox CE. The digital cards are a little different to configure. When you put them in the box, there's no power port, so you don't have to plug them into the power supply. They do have an optional hardware echo cancellation board. This is something that I don't think should be optional. I think every install should just go ahead, spend the extra money for the hardware echo cancellation. It's going to save you time, energy, resources, and everything else from solving echo problems. Just get the hardware echo cancellation module, put it on here, you won't have any problems. Now the cards are available in 1, 2, or 4 spans. The span is a single PRI T1, E1, J1 interface that can plug in. Here in the US we use the T1 standard, which is going to be 23 channels per port. So it's going to be 23, 46, or up to 92 lines coming into this thing. So that's pretty good density that you can get on these. And really all we're going to do is stick it into a PCI port, or if you have the PCI Express model, you'll just put it into a PCI Express port. Boot up the system, and then we have a little configuration to do within trixbox CE. We're going to run the setup-pstn script to set the cards up within asterisk, and then we'll go into the PBX configuration tool and set up the trunk, make sure we have the correct number of lines going to it, and we're going to be set to go. So setting this up is going to be pretty easy. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got the machine powered down, and we're just going to insert the card into the PCI slot. So once our card is installed in the system and we've got it powered back up, we're ready to go in and configure trixbox to see the card. Now I'm going to be using a single span card, which is the TE122. So it's going to support 23 ports. And let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing I need to do is I need to telnet into the machine. So I'm just going to use PuTTY, SSH in, log in as root, put in my password, and I'm set to go. And all I need to do is run setup-pstn. This will detect the hardware, it'll stop asterisk, it'll set up the cards, and then it'll configure the actual configuration files, or restart everything, and then show us how many ports we actually have configured within the system. Now this should only take about 30 to 40 seconds, and then everything should come right up, and it's starting back up now, and it should tell us that we have 23 ports available. And there we have it, 23 ports. So now asterisk is configured. It sees the actual ports that are there, and they're ready to go. Now we just need to set up the trunks, the inbound and outbound routes, and make sure that the phone system is ready to work with those lines. So we're going to log into trixbox CE. We're going to switch to the admin mode, go to the PBX configuration, and we're going to go to our trunks. Now I've got one default trunk here, which should always be there. So really no changes that we need to make here, other than we probably should go ahead and set the maximum number of channels to 23. And on the identifier, now this is kind of interesting, and one thing I like to do is actually change this to a capital G. Now a lowercase g means it's going to dial out from port 1 up to port 23. And inbound calls are going to come in from 1 to 23. If I change the ZAP identifier to a capital G, then outbound calls are going to start at 23 and work their way down. So it's a minor change, but it can keep people from picking up when a call's coming in, and sometimes save some of that aggravation that can occur if you pick up a line to dial out and it's an incoming call. Let's go ahead and check our outbound routes. And we've got a pretty generic outbound route configuration here. I've got 911, international, toll-free, local, long distance, and set to go to that trunk. Just go ahead and submit those changes. We make sure our inbound routes are set. And really all I'm going to have here is just a blank incoming route with no DID, no caller ID set, and it's just going to go to an extension. That'll make that real easy. So any inbound call is just going to come into an extension for now. And I go to apply those changes, reload the system, and there we have it. The system's up and running with the different ports on it. Now for testing purposes, you should build a T1 loopback cable that you can plug into the card, and that you can use with asterisk to see if the card is coming up, if it's in a red state, a yellow state, or a green state. Make sure that everything is configured right within the system. And you can then test it that way, but you won't be able to make inbound or outbound calls. But as long as you're getting a green light on that by using a T1 loopback cable, you know you're ready to plug in to your actual T1 and start making phone calls. So as you can see, configuring the Digium Digital Cards with trixbox CE, very, very easy, very quick, and doesn't take a whole lot of effort. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.